Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Force Feed brought to you by Force Strategy Gaming. Today is Thursday, November 17th, I don't even know what day it is, 2011. This is a show where I keep you up to date on all things going on in the gaming industry and share with you my thoughts and opinions on them. Let's just go ahead and jump into today's gaming news. Torchlight 2 does appear to be delayed from being released this year to whenever it's ready. Evidently, they are not prepared to launch Torchlight 2 before the end of the year, and as a result, it is going to be pushed back. Now, it has been stated that one of the primary reasons behind this delay is because they are hoping to have some sort of a beta test done before they can actually fully release the game. This is largely due to the fact that they really want to make sure that the game is solid and polished by the time it comes out. Now, obviously, this leads us to believe it's not going to be out this year, and it's going to be pushed back a little bit. This is going to put it awfully close to the release of another action RPG, somewhat in the same vein. I'm looking at you, Diablo. That's correct. This is probably very likely going to push it to a release around the same time as Diablo is, as we're looking to have Diablo 3 come out in early 2012. Now, this begs the question, what are they thinking? This is kind of rough. I know one of the big selling points, and this is something to certainly consider behind Torchlight 2, is that the customization that the game has over Diablo 3 in the sense that they are allowing modding, and also the fact that there is going to be, you're not required to be online, whereas with Diablo 3 you are forced to be online. I personally think that pushing it too close to the release date of Diablo 3 is going to hurt sales, undoubtedly. Even with those differences, overall, the gameplay experience in its general essence of the fact that it's a hack and slash RPG, it's more or less the same. And at least for me, and I know for a lot of my friends, the scales are tilted towards Diablo 3 if we have to make a choice. I do think that had they released Torchlight 2 before Diablo 3 came out, you would have gotten a lot of people who were waiting for the game. And that's not to discredit Torchlight 2. It's certainly going to be a good game. It looks great. I'm looking forward to it. But I can say with most certainty that I will not be spending as much time with the game as I will be with Diablo 3. And that's just a matter of fact. I do think it's good and it's commendable that they want to make sure that the game is polished and finished before they release it. But I also think it will hurt them, at least in the short term, if they push back the release and put it closer to Diablo 3. But maybe that's their goal, maybe that's their idea, that if they put more time and effort into it and put some more energy and work into the game before release, that in the long term they can make up for what is likely to be short-term losses. The question now, of course, is what do you guys think? Do you think it's a good idea for them to delay this, try to polish the game a little bit more, and subsequently hurt their sales as they are too close to Diablo 3's release? Or do you think that in the long run it'll be worth it for them? Why don't you let me know below? Call of Duty Elite is still not working for a majority of its users. This is certainly a frustrating situation. The giant Call of Duty Elite service that was launched not too long ago has been down and spotty and having tremendous issues for a majority of its user base for quite some time. And now it has been stated that it is still going to be a couple of weeks until the service is actually fully up and running. Basically, what we recently learned is that a majority of the reason behind the issue and behind all the problems that they've been having with it has to do primarily with, in one sense, server overload. There has just been far too many people requesting and trying to use the service, and they're not capable of handling that high volume. But a big part of it as well has to do with how data is stored and sent on their servers. One of the big things with Call of Duty Elite is that it's so personalized to the individual player, and all this information that is stored for them, the way it's retrieved and sent out, that high volume is what actually caused their servers to back up and subsequently have issues, crashes, people having problems logging in, and all sorts of stuff like that. Now they're working on fixing this, and you may think, hey, this is Activision Blizzard, probably one of the biggest companies, and we look at their titles, I mean the Call of Duty franchise, and even looking right on over to Blizzard with World of Warcraft, you figure that together they should have no problem with what is dubbed as high volume, but it just goes to show you that even with such a large company, you can have issues with this. What I want to know is, are any of you guys out there Call of Duty fans, players? Have you tried the Elite service? Have you been having troubles with it? And what do you think about their claim that high volume has been the issue? In a recent interview with Game Informer, Epic Games' Rod Ferguson discusses how DLC is being used as a way to combat the used game market. Basically what's happening and the way they're trying to combat the issue here is that companies like GameStop are making a killing off of used game sales. I purchase a game, I get tired of it, I sell it to GameStop, they give me a fairly low rate for it, and then they sell it at a much higher marked up rate, and they're making so much money with very little effort. And the issue that these game companies are having with this transaction is that they're not receiving anything from it. So what they are attempting to do is that when you purchase a game, it comes with launch DLC. Basically, the day it comes out, there's DLC for it. You'll get like a little ticket that gives you a code to put in, and then all of a sudden you get these map packs, or you get this new weapon, or anything like that. But it can only be used once, so that when you take that copy and you give it to GameStop and then they resell it, whoever buys that used copy is missing out on whatever content was available at that initial DLC. This is trying to tempt players to only buy brand new copies of the game so that they can get that DLC with the brand new copy and get the full gaming experience. Now, this does, of course, bring up the question of ownership. I purchase a game, I have the right to sell it. It's my property. I can do with it what I please. And then I sell it to GameStop. They have the right to then sell it to a new person. And again, that new person is being left out of some content because of this attempt of new DLC when you buy a brand new copy of the game. So the question for you guys is, are you okay with this? I mean, this is what's going on right now in the industry. This is becoming more and more prevalent as time goes on. People with new copies of a game are offering DLC that's kind of a one-time use only. It attaches itself to your console or your online account, and then once that happens, that is it. So if you buy a used copy, you miss out on whatever it is, the map, the weapon, or whatever. So do you think that's fair? Do you think that's okay? And do you agree with it? That is going to be the question for you guys today. Let me know what you think about the used game market and the attempt of purchased new game copy DLC being a way to combat that. That's what I want to know from you guys today. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's episode of the Force Feed. Stay tuned tomorrow for this week's final episode of Force Feed, where I'll be keeping you up to date on all recent gaming news and announcements in the industry and sharing with you my thoughts and opinions on them. As always, this has been Force, and you have just been force fed.